Speaking of growing season, Southwood Landscape Center helping fight hunger by growing tomato plants.
Plant a Row for the Hungry is a week-long event where all the proceeds help local families.
News on 6's Meredith McCown is live with former HGTV star Paul James, or the gardener guy. Good morning.
Good morning. We're surrounded by rows and rows of tomato plants like this one for their biggest fundraiser of the year. And I picked out one called Celebrity because we're back with the one and only Paul James, the gardener guy.
Oh,
hey,
you're so
Paul.
kind.
It's only fitting. Well, go ahead and tell us about this big fundraiser you guys have going on.
Plant a Row for the Hungry is the name of the event, and it benefits the community food bank. So in years past, we've collected non-perishable food items, but the pandemic shut that down and taught us a new way of doing things, which is simpler. You buy one of our Southwood grown tomatoes for $2, and we will donate 100% of the proceeds to the Community Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma. Last year, we hit right at $7,500. We would love to do much more than that this year. We've got 5,000 tomatoes that we grew, so you need to come out here and grab them because this only lasts until supplies are gone. So it started yesterday. It's going to continue at least through Sunday if the tomatoes last.
Wow, yeah, you said they're going to go out fast because we're surrounded by so many of them, though. There's so many different types. So, I mean, we have got Celebrity, Cherokee Purple, Early Girl, all these different names. What does that mean? I mean, how do you know which type to get?
Well, believe it or not, there are over 10,000 varieties of tomatoes. So we're just touching the surface with our selection here. But most people that have grown them before, they have a favorite. Like Cherokee Purple is an heirloom. It's an old variety that people absolutely love. These will go quickly. Sweet 100s are the classic little cherry tomatoes that are very prolific, easiest to grow, and those will likely go pretty quickly too. Romas, like the San Marzano or the La Roma, they're a paste tomato, great for sauces. Those tend to go pretty fast too.
Okay, so they're all kind of good for different things. You said some are good for slicing, some are just good for salads, kind of different, and they all have it on the back too.
And they're all good for eating.
Recommendation on what's the back.
They're all good for eating.
All good for eating. Of course, you said nothing's like a homegrown tomato. And so tell us about the growth process. I mean, what does it look, what is it like? You said the weather might be affecting it recently as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to watch Alan's forecast very closely for the next couple of weeks because if overnight temps get below 45, it can stress the plants somewhat, and you need to protect them. Put a blanket over them, invert a pot over them. So once we get to where overnights are around 50 and daytime highs are whatever they want to be, it's time to plant tomatoes. Classically, people wait until April 15th, but some years you can plant a little earlier, and some years you gotta wait a little longer.
And each tomato plant, we're looking at them, there's 5,000 here, but this is gonna produce a lot of tomatoes. How much does each plant come up with?
That was a nice move. The Sweet 100, for instance, the little cherry tomatoes, you'll get 200 or so off of one plant. Whereas most of the others, you're probably looking at 40 or so. That's assuming the squirrels, the birds, and various pests don't get them. But, you know, tomatoes are trickier to grow than a lot of people think. But they're everyone's favorite. It's America's #1 backyard vegetable. So it's hard to imagine going through a planting season without tomatoes.
So pick them up fast, the tomatoes, and then, of course, it's going on until next Wednesday. Any other details that people need to know about?
Well, it's going to run through Sunday if we still have tomatoes.
Okay.
You know, that pretty much covers it. Again, watch the weather, pay attention, because that is critical. It'll shock the plant if they get too cold. And you won't necessarily see damage, like black tissue damage, but it can stunt the plant and it might not rebound all that well. So watch Alan like everybody does every morning. I mean, come on.
Great advice, yes, for all the tomato plant growing advice as well. So thank you so much, Paul. Again, the fundraiser started yesterday, going on until the tomatoes run out, so get them fast. They're $2. and all the proceeds will go to help local families through the food bank. I'll send it back to you guys.
Meredith, thank you very much. Alan, a lot of pub. They're getting a lot of FaceTime.
Yeah, well, let me also say, those tropical plants tonight, you need to kind of take some precaution because it will get pretty chilly through early tomorrow morning.